Hello, and welcome to the Louisiana Youth for Excellence, or LIFE program, Data Collection Training. You're here because your agency has received a LIFE contract and is implementing the Making a Difference Sexual Risk Avoidance Education Program in our state. My name is Elizabeth Winchester. I'm part of the Technical Assistance Team at Louisiana State University's Social Research and Evaluation Center. Our team is providing technical assistance for data reporting and other services to the LIFE program and their subcontractors. Here is what you can expect today. First, we will discuss when data should be collected for the Sexual Risk Avoidance Education Program Performance Analysis Study, or SRAPOS, the federal program requiring your data. I will provide you with the dates of program implementation, data collection, and data reporting deadlines. We will discuss the data requirements for the SRAPOS reporting system. What should you be collecting while you implement the Making a Difference program? And lastly, we will discuss how your agency should prepare the data for the SRAPOS reporting system and transmission to LSU. If your agency implemented Making a Difference between September 1st through December 31st, 2020, and you administered entry or exit surveys, those data are required for submission into the SRAE portal between February 1st to March 15th. And if a group or cohort of kids finished the Making a Difference curriculum, then attendance, reach, and dosage data should also be submitted now. Please remember, you will also submit structure, cost, and support data during the July and August reporting period as well. We will remind you about this data later in the year. If you implemented Making a Difference after January 1st, 2021, data should be collected from January 1st through June 30th, 2021 for the data reporting period in July and August. Data collection will include entry and exit survey data, attendance, reach, and dosage data, structure, cost, and support for program implementation from October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021. Before you begin implementing Making a Difference, each agency is required to have a signed MOU and data security agreement in place. Your agency should have a signed consent and assent form for each participant. Remember, each agency has agreed to keep the participants' personally identifiable information safe and confidential. Entry and exit survey data, safe and confidential, and report data in a responsible manner. At all times, performance measures data should be collected, stored, and transmitted using data security protocols. For example, do not collect personally identifiable information on entry and exit surveys. Paper surveys, consent, and assent forms should be stored in a locked filing cabinet or safe. Sensitive information should be stored on a password-protected computer, secure server, shared drives, stored in the cloud, and accessed only on authorized computers, or from a locked safe or file cabinet. Think through how you're going to collect assent and consent forms before programs begin. Data collection requirements for each cohort or class receiving Making a Difference who are middle school aged or older should complete entry and exit surveys. An entry survey should be given before the first module of Making a Difference is given. An exit survey should be administered after the last module is delivered. Entry and exit surveys and all responses are voluntary and anonymous. A cohort are a group of youth receiving Making a Difference together. A cohort could consist of one person if the program is delivered one-on-one. Attendance, reach, and dosage of each cohort should also be tracked. Attendance, reach, and dosage is the number of sessions each participant attends, number of hours of the program that each participant receives, what type of program setting, during school or after school, in a clinic, in a foster care setting, in a juvenile detention setting, in a mental health treatment center, virtually, or some other type of setting. A cohort, again, are a group of youth who are receiving the program together. You should use the middle school version of the surveys if your participants are in 5th through 8th grade, or if the middle school in your area includes 9th grade. This age group should include kids about age 10 through 16. You should use the high school version of the entry and exit surveys if your participants are in 9th through 12th grade or in college, technical school, working on their GED, or may have already had their diploma or GED. These students could possibly be as young as 10 or through 20 or even older. The middle school version of each survey is a subset of the questions in the high school or older version. There are two options for the entry and exit survey for participants: a paper survey and an online version. There are some pros and cons to both versions. For the paper survey, the pros: for in-person programs, you may get much better participation in your surveys if you administer the surveys in the classroom setting. You will also know if your participants are submitting their surveys. One con is your agency will have to recode the responses of your participants from the paper survey to an Excel spreadsheet and then turn them in to LSU so that we may submit them to the SRAE portal for you. Your second option is an online option, which would be two separate anonymous web-based links, one for the entry survey and one for the exit survey. There are separate versions available for the middle and high school versions. The pros for this option are: for programs in a virtual or online setting, your participants probably would not have access to a paper entry and exit survey. An online or virtual option would be an easier option for you and your participants. It would probably be time-consuming and impractical to send paper copies of the survey to participants and expect them to send them back. Participants can simply click a link and take the surveys anonymously. This option is available to any program, whether you held your sessions virtually or in person. Another pro to using the online survey is that LSU will prepare all of the data preparation for the SRAE data portal. Once your participants have submitted the entry and exit surveys, your job is done. LSU will take care of all the work for your data reporting. One serious con to using the online entry and exit survey is that you can't track whether your participants completed the survey. And since the surveys are anonymous, we won't have any idea who has submitted them or not. The participation rate will probably be much lower than the in-person surveys. How to prepare the survey data for the SRAE data collection tools. If you use the paper survey, you will need to prepare your survey data for the SRAE data collection tools this summer. The SRAE program has provided an entry and exit survey recording tool in Microsoft Excel. The tool allows for the recording of each participant entry survey and exit survey response collected during the reporting period. For those of you using the paper copy of the survey, whether it's a middle school or high school version of the survey, Shreyas provided this tool to help you prepare your data for reporting. This is what the reporting tool looks like when you open the spreadsheet. I'm showing just a small sample of the spreadsheet. There's a column for every question in the survey, and you would enter the response that your participant selected for each question. The column heading shows the possible answers that are allowed in each column. So for the first column, you would enter the grantee name. Our grantee name is Louisiana. Enter the provider name. This would be the name of your agency. For the program model name, our program is Making a Difference. These first three columns will be the same for all of your surveys. Next, you will enter the name of the version of the survey you are administering, the middle school or the high school version. If you look at the top of the column, you will see the data codes that are acceptable in that column of the spreadsheet. In this column, Excel will only accept an MS for middle school or an HS for high school. When you type in the MS or HS version, the spreadsheet will automatically adjust for missing data responses in the correct columns for the questions asked in each version of the survey. As you enter data from the paper survey into the spreadsheet, you will notice that the data entry codes are the expected responses that should be entered for each question into the spreadsheet are located at the top of each column. The system will not allow you to enter a number or a letter out of range. In the example on this slide, I tried to enter a 20 for grade at entry. Grade level 20 is not an option. The highest grade level at entry for high school is 17. If you receive an error message like the one pictured above, simply replace the incorrect number or letter with the correct data entry code. If you need any assistance filling out your entry or exit spreadsheet, Shrek is available to assist you with it. Our contact information will be listed at the end of the presentation. For the attendance, reach, and dosage data, there are two parts to this data collection. Program level data, that is the implementation of the Making a Difference curriculum, and the cohort level data, or the data about groups of kids who received Making a Difference together. Keep participant attendance records for every program session while implementing Making a Difference in order to provide this data. Number of participants by session, program setting. Here are some of the data Shrey is looking for. Did any youth begin making a difference during the reporting time? Yes or no? Did any youth complete the Making a Difference curriculum during the reporting time? Yes or no? The reporting time would be September 1st through December 31st, 2020 for the winter reporting period, or January 1st through June 30th, 2021 for the summer reporting period. You will be asked to enter the number of participants who attended at least one program session, the number who were in middle school or high school. Enter the number of youth who attended a session by program setting. In school, during school, in school after school, in a community-based organization, in a clinic, in a foster care setting, in a juvenile detention center, in a residential mental health treatment facility, online, in another setting. You just need to indicate where the participants are located. Enter the number of youth who completed at least 75% of scheduled program hours. Number of youth's parents and other caring adults who attended at least one program session during the reporting period. Indicate whether more than 50% of youth attending the program were in foster care, homeless or runaway, pregnant or parenting, in adjudication systems, none of the above. Please note that you will not have to provide the exact number of youth served in one of these populations, only that more than 50% of the youth served were in the category selected. Only report specific populations when you have information that confirms that assessment. If you are uncertain if your participants are in one of these populations, do not report them. And finally, for each cohort or group of participants that held classes during the reporting period, indicate whether that cohort completed the Making a Difference curriculum, yes or no. And then the number of program hours delivered should consist of the hours for all defined SHRAE programming, which could include a specific curriculum plus any additional hours of programming added to meet SHRAE goals. The final bit of information that each site should be collecting is the structure, cost, and support of program implementation. This data will not be reported until the summer reporting period. Each site will be required to report the SHRAE funding amount, non-SHRAE funding amount that is used to support SHRAE programming, the number of staff trained, number of staff involved in administering the program, core topics addressed by the program, supplemental program elements used to address core topics, and supplemental program models used. On this slide, you will see a preliminary tool that we've created to help agencies collect data related to the structure, cost, and support of program implementation. This data will not be reported until the summer reporting period, which opens in July and August. For each contract with LIFE, each agency will be required to report the following information. Your SHRAE funding amount. This is the amount granted to each agency to implement Making a Difference. The amount of non-SHRAE funding that is used to support their Making a Difference. If your agency did not serve any youth during the reporting period, you do not have to enter any additional data. If you did implement Making a Difference to youth, how many program staff were trained in the Making a Difference model? How many program staff were involved in administering the program? How many program staff were observed exactly once for quality monitoring? How many program staff were observed twice or more for quality monitoring? Indicate whether your agency had any implementation challenges by selecting not a problem, somewhat a problem, or a serious problem to a series of situations that you may have encountered during the year. Next, indicate whether your agency needs any technical assistance by selecting not interested, somewhat interested, or very interested to a series of technical assistance factors. Next, there are some program level measures which include some questions about the Making a Difference curriculum, plus any supplemental activities that were integrated into the curriculum to meet the SHRAE objectives. First, enter the number of intended program delivery hours. This should include the number of specific curriculum hours, plus any additional hours of programming added to meet SHRAE goals. This should not be multiplied by the number of participants. Next, indicate whether your agency implemented Making a Difference during the reporting year, October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021, or whenever your contract ended if that is earlier. Indicate which, if any, of the youth groups listed are targeted and recruited for program. Only report populations that were actively recruited for participation, even if you were not successfully able to serve anyone from that population. Please indicate which of the listed topics are addressed by the Making a Difference curriculum. To make data reporting easier for all agencies, LSU STREC will be there to assist agencies with data entry into the SHRAE data portal. As I mentioned earlier, an online version of the entry and exit surveys have been created in Qualtrics. Please contact us for a version for your agency to use. We have also created a data entry form for attendance, reach, and dosage, and one for structure, cost, and support. These are fillable Adobe forms and look like the PowerPoint slides that were part of the presentation today. They are available for every agency now. As a final reminder of the data reporting schedule, all contracts and agencies that were in place and providing Making a Difference from September through December 31st of 2020 to middle school or high school participants are part of the winter data collection schedule. If you administered entry or exit surveys, those are due now. Did you complete a full Making a Difference curriculum with a group of participants? If the answer is yes, the attendance, reach, and dosage data is also due now as well. For all contracts and agencies that will provide Making a Difference after January 1st, 2021, you should administer entry and exit surveys, track attendance, reach, and dosage for every group of participants. These data will be collected and reported in the summer data reporting session. All contracts also will be required to report structure, cost, and support, which covers October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021 during the summer reporting session as well. If your contract expires before the summer, you can turn this data in before the July-August dates. Finally, here is the contact information for our office. Contact us at any time for assistance. Please feel free to return to this material as often as you need to and let us know if you have any additional questions. Thank you for joining us today and for your time.